Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to discuss Borders Books, The Death of a Friend. In 1994, I was driving home from work. I worked in Beverly, Massachusetts, and I lived with my wife and two sons in Peabody, Massachusetts. Someone unfamiliar with Massachusetts pronunciation would have wanted to call it Peabody, but the locals would roast you for such a mistake. It was Peabody, and you better not forget it. As I turned off the Yankee Highway, Route 128, onto Andover Street, or Route 114, immediately to my right, I noticed a large building, and my eye caught a sign with the word Books on it. I turned into the parking lot to see what was going on, and there I saw it, my first Borders bookstore, as it was being built, and there was a sign saying it would be opening soon. It is hard to express the excitement I felt when I read that sign. At the mall, there were small bookstores like Walden Books or B. Dalton, and I always spent time in those stores browsing the shelves, but they were like a book convenience store compared with a full-sized Walmart of books. I had yet to see my first Barnes & Noble, so this was something entirely new for me, a bookstore the size of a fairly large library. I checked progress as the opening day approached. My wife and I were there when it opened, and it was even better than I had expected. It had 2 stories with nothing but books and a coffee shop on the bottom, and more books and CDs and DVDs on the top. A new friendship formed instantly. The next year we moved away, heading back to the Portland, Oregon area, leaving my new friend behind. Not far from our first apartment, in a few months, I found a Barnes & Noble was under construction. I went there often to check on the progress. When they loaded up the bookshelves, I knew opening day would be coming soon. Over the years, we went to this bookstore, and it was nearly a twin brother to Borders, but it was a bit of a drive to get to it. I had a 3-mile walking loop from our house that I did routinely, and one day, there it was, a new building going up, and it had a sign. A new Borders bookstore was opening. Yes! My wife and I both walked the loop together, often, and we watched the building progress. It seemed to take forever to get the books inside, even after the outside of the building seemed to be finished. But then finally the day arrived. Borders Books was open. When we first walked in, my wife and I browsed the shelves together for a time, and then we went our separate ways, as she went to the cookbooks and nutrition area, and I was into the mathematics, science, history, and computer shelves. Then, when we purchased our treasures, there was the coffee shop. It was loaded up with nice tables and stuffed chairs where we could enjoy a coffee as we read. This became a ritual for us, and I would put our laptop computers into my backpack and we would walk to Borders, where we could pick up a book or magazine to read or work on our computers as we enjoyed the atmosphere. This video was taken in late November of 2007. It shows my wife in a playful mood as we were heading over to dinner and then over to Borders Books to do some reading.
Hi, cutie.
We'll go walk to Red Robin because we're hungry and I haven't eaten all day. I'm really hungry.
I have, though.
Then we're going to go to Borders for a little while and read for a bit. And then go home, and it's probably below freezing right now, I would think. Might snow, might rain. Who knows? But I got my umbrella.
Well, Little White Riding Hood, where did you get that hat from?
I bought it at Target, and I fell in love with it. It was so toasty. And isn't it just me?
It's just you. I like it.
You.
I love you, too.
Bye.
In 2009, here's another shot of my wife at Borders Coffee Shop. The coffee shop often had live entertainment. They had folk music and a very good Irish band that came more than once. Borders had become our home away from home. We moved up to Spokane for a time, and there was a Borders there as well, and we continued to visit it regularly. This store had become part of the family for us. Barnes & Noble was a good store, but it was in the mall, and it was too busy. Borders was a standalone store and had a different atmosphere. But then, one day, it happened. Suddenly, rumors were flying that Borders had a terminal illness. And finally, in 2011, signs popped up in the store. It was going to close. Because Borders was going out of business, I was devastated. At first I wouldn't believe it. How could this be? But in time, the signs were everywhere on the store, and it was clearly going to close. When it finally did close its doors, we went back to pay our respects, and it was a very sad day. The building stood there haunting and dead. The windows still said Borders, and the address was still indicated, which matched the address on the receipt I found in one of my books from June of 2011. Later, when we moved back to Vancouver, we visited the Borders there where we had spent so much time in the past. As a final insult, the store was being used to sell Halloween costumes that day. Life is a journey that always ends at some point. For 17 years, I had a friendship with a bookstore, which may sound odd, but to this day I am still saddened when I remember that I can't put on my backpack and walk over to Borders Books. Those wonderful visits are gone forever. I still enjoy visiting Barnes & Noble, but it just isn't the same. Goodbye, my friend. May you rest in peace. If you enjoyed the video, please hit like. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. I'll see you next time.